It's been a few games since I've been here, but I'm back for a match reaction to the performance yesterday, and what a performance it was. Unbelievable, incredible. The best performance, I think, under Unai Emery, and I'm sure a lot of Villa fans will agree. Aston Villa 3, Newcastle nil. And to say I was nervous before the game is an understatement. Before the game, I was really tense. It's nice to finally play for something important, for European places, for something positive instead of fighting for relegation or fighting to get back into the Premier League. You know, something really big for the club. Thinking about, Kamara being injured, Bailey being injured, um, also Coutinho and Cash still out. So having played the last three games and playing so well and winning them uh, so convincingly, um, it was time to see if we could really step up. And with those injuries, there was a lot riding on it. The squad was probably very fatigued, having played so much together. You had players like Ashley Young, who were 38 years old, starting in the starting lineup. So yeah, it was nerve wracking for me. I felt the atmosphere before the game uh, was really good. The place was rocking. Villa Park was rocking. Going to the game, there's loads of Villa fans, around the ground. The place was it was really buzzing. And walking into there, I thought this is going to be a right game now. Having also seen the lineup, and as we discussed, there might have been fatigue coming into play. A lot of players have played a lot of games consistently, not really being able to rotate or make substitutions due to injuries that have occurred. New players coming into the team as Dandonkor. The last decent performance I saw from Dendoncker was probably Manchester United at home. I think he's had two decent starts before this. Brentford at home and Manchester United at home, where he's been played really well, especially that Brentford game. So seeing him come back into the team, having been in the wilderness, hardly playing at all, was a big thing. It was, can Dendoncker step up to it in a game which is massive against the third best team, I think, this season? I know we are since Emery's come in, but overall, Newcastle for me have been the third best team this season. So it was, what can we do? Can we impose ourselves on them? Um, and didn't we just do that? From kick-off, when I saw them doing the huddle, I thought, yeah, they're going to be up for this as well. So we need to be right on it. And we were. It was mental. The first 30 seconds, we stuck it on and received the ball. Jacob Ramsey's got the ball on the left-hand side, and he's played a lovely ball over the top of Trippier to put Watkins through one-on-one. He's jostled with Botman, got across him, and he's just rolled it off the post. And Nick Pope, he's left Pope on the floor, helpless. It was unbelievable play, and to hit the post, it was just so unlucky. And I think a lot of Villa fans, I did anyway, when that hit the post, you just like, don't tell me it's going to be one of those days. Don't tell me we're going to just be unlucky and they're going to come on to us and win the game. But no, from there, it just went from strength to strength, didn't it? And throughout the whole game, to be honest, we just played unbelievably. It was shocking to me because I really felt before the game, this is going to be a tough ask. If we're going to win this game, honestly, I would have taken a point, to be honest, before the game. Um, with the injuries we've got and the way Newcastle have been playing and how they impose themselves on teams, even though they've been having poor starts recently away from home in the first half, I thought, yeah, this game's looking like a draw before the offset. And especially seeing Dendoncker come in, I thought, yeah, we're not gonna. Can't see us winning this one. But yeah, as I said, after the Watkin chance, it was just all Villa. It was all Villa throughout that game. Um, you had the next opportunity where I think the ball's come across. It's come out from a shot. Moreno's picked it up on the edge of the box. He's skipped past Trippier and put it across to Jacob Ramsey, who's hit the bar. So unlucky, hit the bar. I think that was another chance we had. But before that, I'm shooting ahead here. Before that is the goal. And the goal is brilliant play. It's absolutely brilliant play. We built the ball up from the back. Then Doncour's played it through to Buendia, who's then put it out wide to John McGinn, who was fantastic again. Not the only player, but he was really, really good against Dan Burn. He had Dan Burn all over the place. He was holding him up, protecting the ball, getting past him, beating him. He was unbelievable, John McGinn was. And that ball he played in for Watkins, Watkins was a bit stretched, and there was possibly a call for a penalty because Trippier had his hands all over Watkins' back. Um, he's put the ball in. Watkins done unbelievably. It's an unbelievable header. It's one of the best laybacks for a header I've seen this season. He somehow managed to twist his neck, arch it, and head the ball backwards to Jacob Ramsey. And you know what Jacob Ramsey's like from there. You know the finish is going to be emphatic. It's very rare for a Jacob Ramsey goal to not be emphatic finish, smashing the back of the net. Left foot or right foot, it doesn't matter. That boy can strike the ball, and he struck it straight. I think it might have gone through not Dan Burns' legs. I think it was Botman's legs and under Pope to make it 1-0. Unbelievable finish. Really was an unbelievable finish. And Newcastle were just at 6s and 7s, and it was because of how we were playing. It was how we were setting up against them. They couldn't handle us. They didn't turn up at all. And once Jacob Ramsey makes it 1-0, all you're thinking now is, can we capitalise on this? Because they're there for the taking today. And as we're going through the first half, the chances and opportunities are coming and we're not putting them away. You do start having your doubts. And those chances being the one I mentioned earlier, Ramsey hitting the bar from Moreno's cross. And Moreno against Trippier was unbelievable. To think he was coming up against, World Cup semi-finalist, Euros finalist, Champions League right back who's won La Liga titles. Probably going to get in team of the season this year at right back over the Premier League. I don't think there's been a better right back over the season. Alex Moreno made him look amateur. He made him look terrible. It was shocking. Alex Moreno twisted that guy up, whether it was coming short going in behind, whether it was beating his man, going to the byline. He was clipping the balls across. He was smashing them across, cutting them straight back or chipping the ball. He had Trippier on toast. It's one of the best left-back performances I've seen at Villa. It was incredible. I couldn't believe it. And he's the left-back we've really needed over the years. There was a bit of, discourse from some fans regarding Moreno when he came into the club in January. Do we really need a left-back? I heard some people saying, but he's a cut above Digne. Digne just doesn't have that extra dimension in his threat. Okay, Digne can cross the ball, but Alex Moreno, his threat is just, he can cross it from deep. We've seen the goal for Watkins against West Ham. He can beat his man. We've seen many goals. Even yesterday we saw, the Watkins second goal. He can beat his man and get a ball across. He's incredible. He's so good at left back. It's mad how he's a left back and a left winger. Sometimes gets caught out in defensive situations, and sometimes a bit sloppy on the ball, but he's got the recovery pace, as we saw yesterday, where he managed to get back against Jacob Murphy. So Ramsey hitting the bar was a big chance. We had a few other opportunities. Watkins, who was unplayable yesterday, had the ball on the right side. He put a cross in for Emery Buendia, who just couldn't get his head to it. We had the Dendonka shot. We had Watkins, who was just twisting up Shah and Botman throughout the game, where he cut inside and Nick Pope made a decent save. To be honest, the first half, it could have been 3. It could have been 3-0, and there would have been no complaints from Newcastle fans. It was that bad from their side and that good from us. We were incredible. The best half of football I've seen us play. It was for the build-up of the game, for what the game meant, what was on the game. That is the best performance in the first half I've seen, because we took all the pressure and we just went, okay, we're ready, we're here for this, and we stuck it on them. And for the whole 45 minutes, we stuck it on them. They had one close opportunity. It wasn't really a chance. It was a ball that came across from Jacob Murphy, and Isaac failed to get close to the ball. They had a Bruno Guimaraes shot that went just wide on his left foot. But apart from that, they didn't create nothing. The defence throughout that half, solid, really, really good. Mings and Konza again, superb. And they just went on to improve in the second half. But that first half display, we were just more gutted. Well, I was sitting that we weren't 2-3 up, because we all thought Newcastle can't be any worse in the second half and they're going to come at us. But I don't think that was just them being worse. I thought maybe, are we going to be as good in the second half because we were so good in the first half? So yeah, outstanding first half. Going into the second half now. For me, I was just nervous. Sometimes when we got to play at Villa Park, that second half, sometimes the first 5-10 minutes, people getting back to their seats. This happens at many grounds, especially at home grounds. There's people getting back to their seats. The atmosphere is not as up as it is at the start of the game. I was worried we wouldn't be on it as much as we were first half. But yeah, that was put to bed within the first few minutes. We had chances again. One of the big chances being the Watkins offside goal. Lovely play from Moreno again. He's received the ball on the halfway line and he's cut inside. He's beat the press of Newcastle, gone straight through past Guimaraes and Joe Linton, and he's played an absolutely lovely ball into Watkins, who's put it past Nick Pope. We're going mental, thinking, yeah, 2-0, this is it, game's done. But he's called for offside. Regarding the VAR, I think I've looked back at it now. It did look tight, but I think it's one of those. His left knee's past his arm. It's a fair call. I know the arm, I think it goes up to here, isn't it? I don't think it's sleeve. It might be sleeve, actually, to be fair, but even still, you can't tell because some of them, I think the defender who it was had a long sleeve top on underneath, so it's kind of hard to tell where the sleeve starts. It's got like a white trim, so it's hard to tell. But yeah, I think it was offside and close, very marginal, but I think it was offside and a fair call. But just so unlucky, and it seemed like one of those days where Watkins wasn't going to score because he's hit the post. He's had the shot where he's cut inside, offside goal. Now I think just before that as well, he had another shot where he skinned Shah again, and Botman fake shot come inside, and it's the confidence the man's playing with. He's playing with so much confidence to attack centre backs with the ball, to push him out of position off the ball, to run in behind, to come short. He's battling in the air. He's a complete forward at the minute. It's mental how well he's playing. It's insane. He's so good right now. So yeah, that Pope made a good save, and Pope really did keep him in the game. He really did. He could have been 5 or 6 if it wasn't for Nick Pope. But after that, then comes the second, and again, it's beautiful work from Villa. We attack down the right side. I think McGinn comes in to the centre, plays a ball into Watkins, or Buendia gets it, plays it into Watkins, who lays it off to McGinn. McGinn then travels to the left side of the box, if you're looking towards goal. Gives it to Moreno, who again, 1v1 standing Trippier up. You're thinking, okay, how's he going to get the ball? He just does a little jink, bangs it straight across. And this is how good Watkins has been. Dan Burn is all over Watkins here, and Dan Burn's a bigger guy, but somehow he manages to create separation. He like leans in and comes off, and that gives Watkins the opportunity to then get the ball. Because if he doesn't, Dan Burn can either stick a leg out, or he can lean on him. He won't be able to get a good control. But the way, if you watch it in slow mo, the way Watkins just goes forward, pushing to Burn, and then creates separation it's first class. And he takes a touch and swivels on it, and the instinct is. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant goal. Like it's mad. How the form Watkins in is insane right now. He's literally unplayable. Unbelievable finish. Puts it through Dan Burn's legs, straight past Pope, and it's 2-0. And he gets the goal he deserves, thoroughly deserves. And it's mad now to think Watkins could really be on 13 goal run now. If he'd have scored, I think Palace, he hit the post, and there was another game as well. Was it Bournemouth? I think he had a 1-on-1 as well. If those two had gone in, he'd literally have broken Vardy's record, and then some. He's been on that form. He's been incredible. And then yeah, Newcastle that second half really threatened us. They had the one opportunity with Isak. It's a good save from Martinez, but he didn't really put it in the corner. They had the chance with Jacob Murphy where he's dragged it wide. Those chances were at 1-0 to be fair, but possibly the Jacob Murphy one, he should get it on target. The Isak one's, it's good footwork on the edge of the box, but it's comfortable. And then they bring on Callum Wilson and Miguel Almiron. And Almiron, he has one chance where he hits the side netting, and then he has another chance where Tyrone Mings makes an unbelievable block on him, where he's in a similar position to where Ramsey's goal was. He smacked it with his left foot as well, and Watkins has stuck his leg out and made an unbelievable block. Really, really good. And then on to the third. The game's coming towards, 80 odd minutes now. Villa are really relaxed in their play, really, really set in their play. And we have a lovely move again. It's McGinn's managed to win it. I think Ashley Young and McGinn are kind of like battling with, it might be Matt Target at this point. Yeah, I think it is Matt Target down our right-hand side, down their left-hand side. McGinn's twisted him, turned him, plays the ball across to Buendia, who then plays it through to Watkins. And he just puts it past Nick Pope. Brilliant finish. Really, really brilliant finish. Bit lucky with the deflection, but he's put it low. Nick Pope can't really get to it. He can't really stick a leg out, and it's a great finish. And that's 3-0, and that's the game done. And it's an absolute battering. Absolutely battered them. It was shocking. It was a stunning result. That whole 90 minutes is the best I've seen this season. It might be the best I've seen in years, to be honest. I don't think for where the jeopardy on the game and the positions of both clubs and where we're at and where we're trying to be against, a side in the top three who have only lost to Manchester City and Liverpool this season. And the Liverpool game was a last-minute goal in the 98th minute. To beat them 3-0 so convincingly and give them the worst defeat and probably the worst performance of the season is unbelievable. That's just showed the levels for me. That's made me start believing in what we can really do, because that performance was exceptional to a man. Every man on the pitch, exceptional. Great performance, and there was more opportunities within that game to make it more, as I said. To a man, brilliant. I don't think there was one bad performance. There's not one bad performance in that. Everyone's had an 8 out of 10 game in that game. There wasn't one bad display for me. Everyone was incredible in that game. Ashley Young kept Anthony Gordon quiet. Anthony Gordon's a poor player, man. He might come for him, but at the minute he's not hitting the levels. Kept him quiet. Mings Konsa superb in defence. Dealt with Isaac the whole game. Even when they went to 2 up front, he dealt with Callum Wilson. They dealt with Callum Wilson and they dealt with Isaac. They were comfortable. Not much going on from those two strikers in the second half. Didn't really create nothing. Didn't really have any shots on target. Mings and Cons are outstanding. And more than their defending, their passing with the ball was top as well. Really, really good. Mings made a few passes, breaking through the lines, breaking their press and going through their midfield, which went straight to Buendia, or if it was, McGinn or Ramsey picking up the ball, went straight through, played comfortably, beating their two men in the middle and setting us off. I thought Alex Moreno, that's probably his best game I've seen at Villa, and he's just going to get better. I know he's 29, he's quite old, but he's still a few more years in him, and the pace he carries is incredible. Lovely on the ball. As I said, he gave Trippier probably his hardest game of the season. He had Trippier all over the place. It was mad. It was mad. Lovely little deft touches, going inside, going outside, 1-2s, chip through balls, the whole lot. Alex Moreno was probably my man of the match of the game. After Watkins, should I say, because you got to give it Watkins for his performance. But I thought Alex Moreno was outstanding. The midfield 4, Ramsey just gets better and better, doesn't he? He's such a talent. Considering him and Anthony Gordon have had really the same, platform. They've gone through relatively same career paths at the minute. Although Anthony Gordon's moved on from Everton, play for their boyhood clubs, getting into the teams, same age, being integral to their teams. I think Ramsey's starting to step to a level above Anthony Gordon at the minute. Maybe it's because he's trying to settle in at Newcastle, but Ramsey was outstanding yesterday. And the link up between him and Moreno, the pockets of space they pick up after passing, the triangles, the 1-2s, it's top. It's so good. It's so good. And they're just creating links that are just going to keep improving. Ramsey drifting inside, great to see him shooting, great finish. Should have had two, to be honest. But, one of those, he got hold of it again, hit it emphatically like he always does. Just wasn't able to finish. An outstanding game from Jacob Ramsey, really was. And he really grew into the game. Emery Buendia kept things ticking over. Really nice. He was dropping into space in between Bruno and the back two, Botman and Shah. So they couldn't pick him up in between the lines. He was just floating in between those lines of Joe Linton and Guimaraes and Shah and Botman. In between that four, he was just picking pockets in between and just playing it through, either keeping the ball or passing it off. A brilliant performance from Buendia. Really, really good. It's what we needed. Maybe just, a bit more security, but he had a great game, and it's expected with a team that press so viciously like Newcastle. They're probably the hardest pressing team in the league. But we made them look sluggish. We really did. I thought Dendoncourt and Louise, fantastic. Dendoncourt, I think he misplaced one pass the whole game. He had a 97% pass accuracy. Really impressive. Gave it to Douglas Luiz when he needed to, kept it ticking, kept it moving, playing it in between the centre backs, receiving it from Moreno, Ashley Young, being an option for Martinez. And that's one thing I forgot to say. Martinez made some really good saves in that game. Not big saves, but some really good saves. I don't think there was many big saves to make, but his distribution was really, really good. Playing it between the centre backs, finding Douglas Luiz or Dendoncourt, playing that little chip ball across to the fullbacks. Really good distribution from Martinez. Even playing long towards Watkins, he was hitting him every time, and McGinn, because McGinn just had Dan Burn in. It was a nightmare for him. He had him in the next place. Dan Burn just couldn't hat McGinn. So yeah, when I was talking about Douglas Luiz, unbelievable performance. Conducted the game, the tempo, the flow of the game. He's my player of the season. He's a ridiculous player, and I'm thankful that we never sold that guy to Arsenal, and we somehow managed to sign a new deal. He's an incredible player. He could play. I think he could play for City. Well, Arsenal obviously wanted him, but he could play for, Real Madrid at some point, a big club. That's how good I think Douglas Luiz is. He's 24 now. He's dictating our whole patterns and our whole flow on the pitch. Rarely losing the ball now as well. He's not playing as deep anymore in that six where it's a bit more, got to be in the tackle and stuff. But he's doing that as well. And he man-marked Bruno Guimaraes out the game. Bruno couldn't even get on the ball. He made Bruno look very poor yesterday. He made him look very poor. And I know Bruno's a quality player, but Douglas Luiz made him look poor, and he was levels above him yesterday. He really was. Outstanding performance from Douglas Luiz. Dictated the whole game, finding his passes, intricate passes, keeping on the ball when he needs to be, splitting their midfield with great passes as well, finding Watkins or Buendia when it was required. Fantastic performance. And he hasn't been poor for a long time, Douglas Luiz. Really, really good. And then one I used to have my doubts about. I think it was more because he was in centre midfield, but again, he's shown me up because he's played centre midfield this year and he's been quality as well. John McGinn yesterday was a man possessed, as he's been for probably the past 10 games, if not more. Probably in Unai Emery's whole tenure. A man possessed on the ball. You can't get the ball off him. Dan Burn could not touch the ball off him, or they'd have to trip him up. He's just so secure on the ball. He uses his body to get in the way of anyone who's trying to get the ball off him. His passing's improved so much. Him playing on that right wing allows him to use his left foot to pass the ball, his strong foot. When he was centre midfield, sometimes he struggles. He takes a bit of time to pass because, he doesn't like using his right foot. But on that right wing, he can just take the ball and just cut inside and just hit it, or play a ball, cross it like we saw for the Jacob Ramsey goal, play a great ball in. Use his right foot, to be fair to him, for the third. Lovely little pass into Buendia. John McGinn was outstanding yesterday, and Dan Burn had to come on. I ain't seen Matt Targett play many games this year for Newcastle, but Dan Burn was having such a torrid time that he had to come off. He made Dan Burn look shocking. John McGinn did. Fantastic performance. And then the main man himself, unplayable, incredible, Ollie Watkins. Had it all yesterday. That's a 10 out of 10 performance. That's front of Southgate as well. Yeah, you can stick that one, to be honest. How he was never called up before, I don't know, in recent months. But yeah, phenomenal performance. Had it all. Had it all. Touch, holding off the defenders, holding off the man, making runs into the channel, coming short for the ball, finishing, just constant threat. He occupied their whole back four on his own. He can do that now. He can occupy the whole back four. He's incredible. What a player that guy is. And we need to tie him down now to that new contract. He's got 2 years left. He needs to be tied down to that new deal because he's in incredible form. And you know, the whole 10 plus goals in 3 seasons. Only 2 other players, Salah and Kane, have done that, who currently play in the Premier League. What an asset he is. He can do it all, and it was always the finishing. I'd never doubted anything else before, but I always thought, you know, Ings is a better finisher for me, but he doesn't have anything else that Watkins does. Maybe a bit of build-up play, but I never doubted Watkins. I never wanted to get rid of Watkins. I always knew that Watkins had all the ability. He just needed to put it together, and he's put it together now. He really has. Unbelievable display from Ollie Watkins. Serious player right now. Serious player. 11 goals in 12. You know, 16 goal contribution. Well, it's probably more than that now, isn't it? 16, 17 goal contributions this season. He's flying. He's absolutely flying. Long may it continue. If he can get 20 goals this season, that will be insane. But why can't he now? 7 games left. Why can't he? And yeah, he was man of the match. He was undoubtedly man of the match. But there was 11 man of the matches on that pitch today. There really was. And then Unai Emery, the gaffer, his best game for us. And he's had some pretty good games managing our club. But that's the best. That's the best for me in terms of how big the game was, what was relying on the game. Were we just only beating teams below us? You know, could we beat a team currently in the top 6 looking to get Champions League after being on such a good run? And we smoked them. And we tactically, he put Eddie Howe to the sword. Eddie Howe got a real lesson yesterday, a footballing lesson. Their press was ineffective against us. We kept the ball so well. We were passing through their 2 in the middle with ease. The space that was being created between the centre backs and Bruno and Joe Linton was huge, and we were just picking it up in pockets. Sometimes we were letting the centre backs stay by Martinez off like goal kicks to invite the press, and then playing it long, and the ball was sticking as we were playing it along. Second balls, I think we won the majority of second balls in that game, especially in attacking areas. I can think of, you know, that Moreno second ball for the offside goal. He's won it, and he's just literally ran through with not being touched and played a lovely ball. Second ball again for the Ramsey goal off Ollie Watkins' head. They couldn't get close to us. They couldn't touch us yesterday, and I was shocked. I was stunned at how poor we made that side look, because they're not a bad side at all. They're a very good side, and we made them look average, very average. So Unai Emery, tactical genius for that game. 10 out of 10. And long may it continue. And there's real hope. Europe's a real thing now. It's just whether we can get it. I think we can, but you know, every game, one at a time. Big game against Brentford next, but yeah, the confidence is really flowing through. That was the big test for me. That was a really big test for me, and we passed with flying colours. And you could tell from Emery celebrations that, yeah, that was a big test for. He felt that was the test for him as well, because he was going. I've not seen him go mad on many goals we've scored this season, but those goals we were scoring yesterday, he was going mad. He was really feeling it. And that's because it meant so much. He knew that was the test, and he smashed it. And you have to remember, Unai Emery's coming back to the Premier League. He's trying to prove the doubters wrong. The people that tried to tarnish his name whilst he was there at Arsenal. He's coming here to say, look, not even improve his reputation, because I think his reputation's outstanding anyway. He's trying to stay a statement like, yeah, I am one of the best managers in this league, and I'm going to show you that with this Villa team. And he's already showing that. And long may it continue. Long may it continue. Because, you know, if we get into Europe, you really got to fancy us next year. You really do. You have to fancy us, because of the calibre of the manager and what he's achieved and the experience he has in European competitions. So I'm dreaming now. I'm really dreaming. I'm believing we can do it. Results went our way. Not so much today with the Man United score. If you're chasing Champions League, being a bit really dreaming. But yeah, the results went our way, especially Spurs losing to Bournemouth. Brighton, maybe, Chelsea could have done us a favour, but I didn't really expect that. But Brighton are flying as well. But it's nice to see Newcastle, Spurs, their next week. That's their next game. So I think you're hoping for a draw, or maybe one of them to just take the victory in so you can catch one. Brighton have got to play City, Arsenal. I think they've got to play Newcastle as well. They've just played Spurs, didn't they? They lost. I think they've got to play Newcastle as well. Liverpool. Yeah, you just got to hope they continue with the form they're on, and because they have got 2 games in hand, they can go level on points with us. But we've just got to continue with the form. You've got to hope they continue with the season they're having, which is viable. And we've got to play all these teams. We've got to play Man U. We've got to play Liverpool. We've got to play Brighton. We've got to play Spurs. So every one of our destinies in our own hands for European places. It really is. We go out there and win these games. And not excluding Brentford. I don't even want to exclude Brentford in this. I know they're a few points behind, but I don't even want to do that because they deserve to be in the conversation as well with the season they've had. So yeah, huge game against Brentford next week. The huge games keep on rolling now. Every game's a huge game now with what's at stake. I'll be doing a video for that, a match preview for that game. But yeah, just a fantastic display yesterday, and I'm just still in shock all of yesterday, and I'm still in shock this morning and now this evening, because I couldn't believe how outstanding we played. There's been a lot of videos, there's been a lot of things showered at Villa, XG videos, which I can partially understand, but then it's a statistic that you have to take with a pinch of salt, because there's varying factors that can affect that XG, whether it's game state. You don't know if a team's winning and they've just pushing back, they're happy to sit on the lead. There's a lot of variables with those certain lines. It's just used as a comparative stat to what you see. And what I saw yesterday was an absolutely unbelievable performance, where we've tactically outclassed one of the best sides in the league. So yeah, I'm so over the moon with that. So over the moon. I'm sure every Villa fan was as well. And that's probably one of the best games we've seen live. I mean, I know we had the Liverpool 7-2 result, but we were at home, we weren't there. So it's probably one of the best games live we've had possibly the joy of seeing in a long, long time. A long, long time. So yeah, there'll be a match preview coming. Leave your comments in here, like and subscribe as well. I want to be doing more lives. I want to try and create a community in here, get people coming on, making comments, and get people on my YouTube channel as well. I'd like to interact with other Villa fans, really create a community here, because I love talking about Villa. I love the club so much, so to talk about it with other fans would be a pleasure. So yeah, thank you for watching. Who's watching? Those who watch later, thank you for watching. If you could subscribe, leave a comment as well, how you felt about the performance, where you think we'll finish this season. Thoughts on the game coming up as well, the Brentford game. And yeah, thank you for your time, and I'll see you at the match preview. Cheers.